I don't know. You don't even think live on Facebook. How y'all doing? Hello, how y'all doing over there? We're excited. We're doing the team. I can hear you. If you don't hear me, you can walk up. I believe we already recorded. So once you get the countdown, well, you have to believe regularly. This is I know you got 13 girls, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So we are here live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and all of that good stuff. We want to welcome you again to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station on the Eyes of the Conscious Soul, brings to you every first Saturday of the month. We have the Cafe Le Bleu Lounge, where there are 15 to 45 minute segments called The Corner. Each corner has a blueprint that is unique of its own. So we always ask you to relax, sometimes vibe out to some cool sounds, which we haven't had yet. But however, we do the fireside chats, which we will have today, and be inspired by affirmations and inspirational messages. The Artist Talk on the Corner is where we showcase musicians, poets, singers, dancers, film producers, authors, comedians, gospel and R&B rappers from around the Bay Area to across the globe. They will share their creative process and their lived experience. On the Corner, you can also catch Why I Dream. We highlight and honor the inventions and creative work of today's brilliant minds, along with geniuses from our past. We are preserving African American history and culture in order to keep our legacy alive. Or on the Corner, you can also catch She Who Believes Takes Off the Mask. This is where you will hear from individuals share their personal testimonies to what the Lord has done and is doing in their lives. We are honoring inspirational messages. Also, we are highlighting Golden Lights affirmations to impart healing medicine in the souls of the brilliant minds today. Every second Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. we have the Medicine Hour. This is Mr. George Pearson and myself, Sister Mellow. This is where we believe building a better tomorrow starts with us. The topics we cover is health issues and concerns, healthy eating habits, education, finance, and politics in the African American community. We believe taking care of our temple, mind, and spirit is essential to having mental wellness, of course, healthy eating habits, and knowing that healthy thinking leads to a healthy way of living. Every third Saturday of the month, you have Education is the Best Medicine. The founder and producer of Education is the Best Medicine is Mr. George Pearson. Education is the Best Medicine is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization, which is community-based, health educational advocacy-based, and a resource-based organization that uses public media resources, newspapers, church-based community health fairs, and to provide health information and education. Every fourth Saturday of the month, we have the Lights Out Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult Radio Show with my co-host, the Doc. We have the Prince of Hearts, and we have the Voice. We showcase individuals and the young folks in the community that is making a difference. We highlight the things that they're doing in the community. Every fifth Saturday of the month, which is a new show, we have Voices That Care, which we will highlight mental health and wellness and re-entry. Wow, it's a lot to say, but however, we got to let folks know what we have going on. Every Saturday, we are broadcasting live, and today I have my co-host, Mr. Rose, in the house with me today on the Eyes of the Conscious Soul. The corner come from with the Cafe Le Blue Lounge every first Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. We have the town business, and we highlight and showcasing our community. But today we have a taste of Oakland. We're going to have Mr. Rose introduce his guest today.
Oh man, I'm so honored and privileged to even be sitting beside this young man. He's a young educator, activist, organizer, leader in the community. Everything that I talk about whenever I mention this phrase, hood scholar, right?
Hood scholar.
Someone who's able to be a leader in a good way, and young poet, and lead others beside him, and also allow them to be empowered just by how he lead them. To my right, I have Esteezy.
What's up, y'all?
Well, as we said today, it's about a taste of Oakland, and we are here to interview this young man and let him share his heart and the hard work that he's doing in the community. But before we get started, we want you to say hello to the fam. You know, it's like, no, you're not on radio and ain't gonna listen to this beat. But it's Town Business, Hood Scholars. Say hello to the fam and whoever you want to highlight today.
What's up, fam? I'm very honored to be here, and I appreciate you giving me this opportunity, to speak my truth and say what I want to say.
What's the mom's name and your cousin?
Oh yeah, let me shout out my mom, for birthing me into this world and teaching me, everything I know now.
That's right.
I gotta shout out my family, everybody in my family. I'm very family oriented, so
which is important.
Yeah, real important. My cousins, I ain't even got friends. I just need my cousins. Like,
hey,
you know what I'm saying?
And I love that your girlfriend, when I met you guys at the event, she said, I said, I am y'all auntie. She said, yeah, auntie from the streets. I'm like, yes, baby, auntie from the streets. So, the love that you guys shared with me, and talk about that event, Rose, and what the other projects that you're doing before we get started.
Yeah, just some brief history. So
yes.
We're part of an organization called APAL. It's an Asian and Pacific Islander youth-led organization. I'm one of the coordinators. Ellis is one of the youth leaders. So every year we host 2 events. Just this past fall, we held an event called Fresh Off the Block, which was like an art exhibit. So all the youth that participated basically created arts relating to like a theme they came up with. And do you remember our theme?
I think we was not the arts. It was I don't remember.
But anyways, usually the theme that they create revolves around like community empowerment, uplifting identities. So we held this art event, this art gallery at the Oakland Asian Cultural Center in downtown Oakland, and we had paintings, drawings, and spoken word artists, and it was really just an opportunity for youth to showcase their talent, their identities, and visibilize them, right? Because oftentimes youth in our community are marginalized and they're not seen as people capable of making decisions, right? Adults often make those decisions for them. So that event itself is youth led, from the projects all the way to the planning. So just a little bit about that.
And it's a beautiful thing that it was led by the Bay, the young folks. And the stories that was told was so deep. I was I was going crazy. I was in there going like, oh my God, we definitely had to make sure, and that's why it's called a Taste of Oakland on today, is to make sure that folks all over the world hear from our youth you know, in our community. And it was just a common thing about, you know, it doesn't matter your color. There's things we have common ground of things that we've been through and that we go through that's the same.
Right.
And I was sitting there listening to the young folks, and I was like, wow, that reaches, it's across. It's across guidelines, it's across color. It happens in our community. And to be able to have them share their story, their stories was just amazing to me, because I am one that will always tell people, good, bad, ugly, challenging, your story counts. Don't let nobody tell you that your story doesn't. It doesn't matter, because your story, that's all you have. When you leave this earth, your story is what people are going to remember.
Right.
You can't take no money. You can't take no house. You can't take no car. You can't take any of those things with us. But the beautiful thing about our stories, with challenging, it doesn't matter. It's you. It makes you up to who you are today. And that's a beautiful thing, you know, because your story can touch somebody else's life. It can bring light to their life. It can inspire them. And that's, to me, what storytelling is all about. And our culture always did storytelling. You know, that's a part of our culture. It's storytelling. And we got to keep that alive. And I honor you all for being able to do that. But tell us a little bit about your upbringing. You know, challenging. We get real. You know what I'm saying? So, because there's a lot going on in the streets. And I want to inspire folks in the streets to, you know, maybe they'll hear a story and something will make them stop. If they had a gun, if they wanted to harm themselves or harm somebody else, I want them to be able to, like, whoa, hear this message of what we're saying and be like, oh, you know, it's bad, but it's like, I can get through this. I'm a hood scholar. I can do this. You know. Go ahead, babe.
Can you do that? Talk about your upbringing and also how you've transformed
That's
to who
what
you are now.
Yes.
Yeah, that journey.
So,
and you can tell us what you want. You know, you don't have to go, you know, it's up to you.
So, growing up, I was born in Richmond, but I was raised in Oakland. So for the first part of my life, we was living in West Oakland.
Yes.
And we lived, it wasn't like necessarily the best situation, you know. There's a lot of, you know, gang violence everywhere, like, you know what I'm saying, like seeing that growing up, it just, you know, influences you as a kid.
Yes. Well, keep it real. This is what we're talking about. We're talking to kids today. We're talking to the young adults. You know, adults, they had already lived their lives. I'm talking to the youngsters.
Yeah, it's like seeing these things, like, of course you're going to want to get yourself involved, because this is what you're seeing every day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, growing up, we moved from the west to the east. I'm from the Dubs, you know.
All right.
I claim the Dubs because, you know, I feel like that's where I really grew up at. But, you know, my friends, people I kick it with, you know, we was all doing bad stuff because, you know what I'm saying? It's all like I said, like
Miss B did some bad stuff too.
You know?
I'll tell you my story a little later.
So I think growing up, especially growing up Cambodian, I feel like it was already a target on my back due to, you know, politicking that didn't even involve me, but it just had to come my way because, you know, just because I was Cambodian. So having to deal with that and then, you know, going to school and stuff, like, it was already challenging enough. And, you know, my parents, like, my parents is young, so a lot of my school, like, I didn't really go to school like that.
Right. It's real.
Yeah, you know, I had the own things to handle. But I think when I got to high school was when I started getting myself more involved with, like, trying to detach myself from that.
Yes.
Not necessarily detaching myself all the way. You know, it's going to be with me for forever.
It's with all of us.
Yeah. So just bettering myself, not only that, just bettering the people around me, like wanting to help them, you know, get out of that lifestyle and just do better and just see what's the real reason why we even in this situation in the first place.
Come on,
and I think
go back to the roots.
Yeah, when I joined APAL, like, I was unfamiliar with anything activism. Like, I didn't know nothing, you know. Like, it took a lot for me to learn to really understand these phrases they use, like white supremacy. I wasn't knowing what that meant. I wasn't knowing, like, a lot of these, what's it called? Like, what's it called?
Capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. Like, I was unfamiliar with those things. And I think that once I got myself educated on those things and understanding, like, what they meant and how they affected me in my own life, like, it really opened my eyes to, that's why this is the way it is. That's why I'm living the way I'm living. And that's why the people around me in my community live the way they live. And it's just like, wow, like, really like
it opened your
yeah.
eyes, and it was a whole new world.
Whole new world. Like
Whole new
I see
world.
things in a whole different light, and I think that some people out there, they can be real closed minded when it comes to things like, especially with people coming from my community, like they so quick to judge, like, oh no, he got no future, or he gonna stay that way and live this way for forever. And I just think that's so like that's
it's
janky.
not cool.
Like,
It
it's
is.
janky. Like, and then like people love to say like, oh, some I feel like even in spaces where it was supposed to be activism, I feel like sometimes like some people like they just be preaching and they not even really about what they say they're about, like not willing to educate others and just being so stern about what they believe in and however they want to take it. But you know what I'm saying, like yeah.
Well, you talking the real. We're not talking about something that's not happening.
Yeah.
It happened to you. So that story is real.
Right. In
your eyes. You experienced it. So we cannot, as you said, judge or talk about somebody else's story because we never walked those shoes.
Yes.
So it's for us to be able to share, to educate, to inspire, and bring information like this for people can get a different perspective on what's happening in the streets and why certain things are going on.
Yeah. And that's why I like to do what I do. So I do spoken word, and I feel like my story really reflects what like young Cambodian man
your reality.
My reality. Like,
come on.
I feel like I wish I had somebody growing up to really talk about these things, because our stories aren't told like that. And I feel like my community, we're so deep in these streets, like there has to be somebody that's telling our stories. Otherwise, we're gonna be stuck in this cycle of just like we all gonna funk with each other, and it's gonna be all bad. You know what I'm saying?
And it's all by design.
All by design,
understanding that it's by design. So how do we?
The reason why I appreciate his growth so much is because he's still so young and he has this lens already, right? Like in our community, like we're so trapped to where it's sometimes it's too late by the time we realize the trap that we're in, right?
Right.
Some people go to jail and then they realize, or some people go to jail and now they got life and it's already too late, right? So just highlighting how young he is and how he's able to see all this, and I'm just can't wait to see how much more he grow and how much of an impact he's gonna make on the community. Like, this is crazy to me.
That is, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm a firm believer in that everybody has, of course, a purpose in life, but there's some things that you've been called to do. So a part of that is the call of the ancestors, and for me, the call of the Lord for the work I do.
Right.
So it's them saying thank you for stepping up and saying, okay, I'll do what you were doing. Because we need people. You've been chosen. They say, "Hey, it's you." Yeah. So I would encourage you to go back and find an ancestor in your culture or others and see what they've been doing. And I guarantee you, they will speak to you, because who speaks to me is Harriet Tubman and Sojourner's Truth. So that's why I do the work that I do, and I now, as I'm older, understand that was the call. That was part. I had a mentor in San Francisco, Miss Joseph. She was a Miss Mother Maxwell. She was Miss Maxine. She was a supervisor, council person in San Francisco. Her mom, and then Miss Osceola. So these were activists in the community, and they would visit our parents' bakery in the city. So I'm back there, of course, cooking and doing the things that I'm doing, baking, pies, cheesecake, or whatever. But I'm under some tutelage. I'm hearing them bring me to the front as they're talking to my parents, saying these different things about what they're doing in the community. And then when I'm there, I'm getting this old school wisdom.
Right.
They passing it down to me, saying, hey, this is what we do in our community. This is what you should be doing in the community. And then me hearing it, but not understanding that was going to be a part of my role too, but was able to be under that tutelage and to hear them speak was nothing but amazing. Like you said, we need to tell this story in our communities more. So just like in my community over there where we were in the Bayview, I was hearing this, and people that would come through those doors, some of the young folks, they were hearing it too, because they was in conversation. So I'm so grateful that, like Rose said, that you said, okay, I'll step up to the plate, because you turned your life around. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a need. No, it's a call. Not even thinking that, oh, they're calling me to do this.
Right.
But now it's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it is a part of my life. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that I feel that, like, I really do, because like, I'm going back to what I said, like, it has to be somebody telling these stories, because if you're not telling these stories, nobody's gonna know. And then, like what I said, we're gonna keep being in the cycle and we can't break through. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of what I write about in my poetry and my spoken word.
And we're gonna do a piece.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
We're definitely gonna do that.
But like, a lot of what I write reflects on that. Like, you know, growing up in Oakland, I feel like growing up in Oakland too, like, that has a lot of significance, especially in my community too. Like, you know, a lot of Cambodian people, we're put in all these different hoods and stuff. Like, you know, we don't have none of the upper hands and stuff. And I always talk about how like, I'm not sure if you were familiar with the model minority myth.
No, say it again, Square.
The model minority myth.
No.
Like,
educate me today.
It's the myth that, you know,
so you learn like, something new every day.
Asian people, like, we do hella good. Like, we're closer to whiteness than other minorities and stuff. Like,
now say the word again.
Model minority.
Model minority.
Model.
Yeah. Minority. Model. Got you.
Yeah, like,
okay.
I always talk about that because I feel like that really messes up, like, not reputation, but like messes up like people's outlook on like Asian people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Asian is such a big umbrella term to talk about all these different types of people, and like how, like, I feel like because of that it lacks a lot of resources for like a lot of people in my community. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed, like, in school, like, there's not enough like help from like older folks, like, to help communities like this solely based off that, and then it's just it's real tough.
What and that you know? You was going to say something?
No.
So once again, you have tuned in to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station. Please, when you see these interviews, send them out to your family members and friends, and tag us and put what did you do? Tag it and what all the other stuff you're supposed to do on there? And Instagram, and you know, because like we said, we're uplifting our family, we're uplifting our young folks, and you know, to me, who can tell your story better than you? It's like somebody else. For me, for instance, I can tell my story better than you can tell my story. I can tell my personal experience better than somebody else. So that's why it's so important for us to be able to hear from the individuals that went through something or that's going through something, you know. And again, we are so grateful and thankful that you have tuned in to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station. You have been tuned in to the Eyes of the Conscious Soul with Sistah Mellow, and we have Brother Rose. I'm the host, and he's my co-host. And we have Big Sis, V6 that's not here today. However, we want to say much love to you, brother. But today, every first Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., you got the Hood Scholars on the corner, Cafe Le Blue Lounge. It's Town Biddness. We're highlighting a taste of Oakland. And today we have, say your name again, baby.
Esteezy.
Let them know. Say it again.
Esteezy.
Esteezy?
Yeah.
All right, in the house. And we have my co-host, Mr. Rose. So, Mr. Rose, as you were talking about being grateful of this young man's growth.
Yeah.
You, and I tell you all the time that you're also, you've been called into this arena of the Hood Scholars.
Yeah.
And that's a badge of honor to be able to, for me, you know, to be able to sit here with these Hood Scholars, to be able to share your story and your information. What comes to your mind when you know that time can't be wasted?
The first thing that comes to mind is rewriting history in a sense where we're creating new history. I'm tired of like our communities, our peoples, like our cultures, our ethnic identities being told from a standpoint of pain.
Come on.
Like for instance, Ellis mentioned being Cambodian. We're both Cambodian, and our people survived the genocide, right? So now whenever we learn about Cambodian history, it's always about the genocide, right? It's always about pain, trauma, and like, you know, this intergenerational trauma that we hold, even if we're not directly connected to the genocide itself, right?
Right.
So just rewriting new history, right? Changing that narrative, like, no, there's also beauty in the work that we in our history as well, right? Like you mentioned earlier, it's like the callings, right? The calling entered Ellis through poetry, right? Our ancestors, we're navigators. Our ancestors were navigators, we're poets, we're writers, we're architectures, we're all these things. But for some reason, we always want to talk about pain and trauma, right? So when we talk about doing events, highlighting identities, we're really tapping into like this intergenerational wisdom, and that's exactly what Ellis is doing, right? And he's definitely doing it in a good way because he's having this realization that there's more than just the streets, there's more than just violence, there's more than just this narrative that they try to paint about us, right?
That's right.
So when we talk about just this whole concept of time, it's really just rewriting our own history, our own narratives, creating new narratives, right? That's relevant to us and our communities. So,
what about for you? When you hear the word, it's no time to waste. No time to waste.
When I hear the word "no time to waste," I think about how much work we got to put into our communities. Like, there's no time that, like, we've been waiting so long for things to get right. Like,
come on,
there's no time. We can't waste no more time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to act now, because if we don't act now, nothing's going to get done.
That's right.
We got so much things happening in our community. We got, people being pushed. Like in Oakland, like gentrification is a big thing right now. And we got to act on it. Like, we got to say something, because if we don't say something, they're not going to hear us. And if they're not going to hear us, nothing's going to, like I said, nothing going to get acted on. So that's what I think of when I hear, like, no time need to be wasted.
So what would you say to some young folks that's right there in that trying to find out who they are, and now trying to shift out of that type of an environment, because it's a call of, I don't want my folks over here in this environment thinking that I'm better than them.
Yeah.
And it's it's that like catch-22 that they find themselves in. What made you, and how did you maneuver through that? How did you get to a point and say, I still love them, and what kind of things are you saying to them for them to see you like move forward? And look, I can bring you with me. We can go together. Yeah. But what was that struggle like, or what was that?
You
not struggle.
You
go. Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
divine.
I think about this all the time. Like, I'm never gonna downplay somebody that I was just there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna belittle them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's right.
It's up to you. Like, I always tell people, like, it's up to how you want to take it. And if you want to learn, you want to learn. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, all you gotta do is keep an open mind. Right. You gotta, if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to want to break out of what the cycle you're in,
generational curses.
Yeah, you got it. That's on your own. Like, I can't sit there and tell you what to do. Like, you got to figure it out on your own. So, yeah.
So what was some of the things that you did? It's like, okay, I know where I am, and you too, Rose. I know where I am, and what was like a pivotal moment for you that was like, okay, I need to do this. You know what I'm saying? No, I have to do this. And what was like the pull to do? What about for yourself?
For me, it off top, like, surviving gun violence completely shifted my whole framework of like community and love and like just survival. And I think that experience alone led me, like, I was like on my deathbed, like, damn, do I turn to the streets, or do I get my degree, right? And then instead of like turning back to the streets, I end up finishing up at UC Santa Cruz and get my degree in community studies, and coming back home so that I can support other young folks that are going through street violence and gang violence and like just all these other things that's gonna jeopardize their livelihood, right? So like, when I come back to my community, it's really just like being that support, that adult ally, not seeing myself as above or below them, but like, it's like the saying, like, you can't lead a horse to a fountain and make it drink, right? But you can still lead it, right? And allow them to take that hand if they need to. And that's just me, like, being a big homie, being like a bigger cousin, or like being a bigger brother. Is like having that role model, right? Like, I can be educated and I can still be from the streets, right?
That's right.
Just in a good way, right? In a healthy way.
And I heard what you were saying, like family. That's what we need back in our community.
Yeah.
Is family. Family was one of those pivotal moments that pull you and say, a youngster, you walking down, all right, youngster, go to school. Yeah. You had the OGs out there saying different things. These days, it's like, I ain't saying anything to them, or whatever the case may be, and then you have the grandmas, like, boy, you better get, what you doing over there.
Right.
And it's crazy because people look at me like I'm crazy, even though I see youngsters and I'm able to say something to them in a way, and they know I'm coming straight from the heart.
Right.
I'm not trying to put them down. I'm not trying to say anything crazy. If I see them doing something, I check them.
You remind them of home.
Right. Yeah. It's in a loving way. It's not like that, like you said, above or nothing like that. It's like been there, done that, understand, but and they respect it. They respect the game on that, and that's why I love you all. You guys are who I live for. You know what I'm saying? The young people are that's my journey. That's why I do the things that I do in the community, to make sure that I uplift you all and give you guys an opportunity. Like I said, I tell Rose and everybody all the time, my platform is you all's platform. What can we do? How do we move? Because we have to. That's what our ancestors did for us. There wasn't nobody fighting, on certain things. No, we knew there was a focus. There was a role. There was something we had to all do, and it's not. Samantha said to me, she said just the other day, and I'm like, whoa. She said, and she was in the interview where I had her last week. She said, Miss B, she was another spoken word artist. She said, Miss B, what if Harriet Tubman said, because of these people, they getting on my nerve, I ain't about to do no underground railroad. Right. She said, because she stayed focused and she knew it was a part of her journey and the things she had to do, no matter what. If somebody came along, you try to get them or they didn't, or she said, now what if she would have said, they getting on my nerve, these folks, I don't like them, blah, 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 and said, nope, I ain't doing anything.
Big picture.
And it's the beautiful thing about, and I'm saying that to say you guys are not saying that too. Yeah. You're saying, oh no, you just said it earlier. Oh no, they need to know. Yeah. I need to know. I need to be educated. And then this is about us getting educated together. This is what we do. So how big is family? And I'm going to let you're going to pull up a spoken word piece too. So how big is family?
Big.
Family is big.
Family real big.
Okay. Even we have different types of family. We got family from the street. We got families that we were birthed into,
Yeah. Family to me, like you said, like I think family, especially being Cambodia, like that's such a big thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Family, it's like, and another thing about family is it don't gotta be blood.
Come on.
It really don't. I think that family is like people that uplift you and support you in what you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they always, tell you nothing. Family don't sugarcoat. So if you doing something wrong and they tell you straight
up,
that
again.
You know what I'm saying?
Family don't sugarcoat.
Okay. Yeah, they don't sugarcoat. They don't go trying to make things sound sweet. Like if you in the wrong, they're gonna tell you with no hesitation, and you're gonna learn from that. That's what family means to me.
Family to me is really just community, right? Like I grew up in an era where like the D boys on the block, right?
That was family.
That was family, right?
That was family. That was my family.
They'd be like,
they were my family too.
Shoot, they'll be like, "What's up, nephew? Good? You need anything?" They'll give me a few dollars, buy some snacks. Like literally, these ain't my blood, right? They taking care of me, and I'm just a young little boy from the hood, just walking, going to school. Like everyone knows who I am, and it's just like seeing Auntie posted outside on the front porch, like, "Hey, nephew," like that's literally the era I grew up in. So whenever I think about family, I think about just that communal love, right? Everyone knows everybody, right? And everyone's looking out for each other, right? And it's like we here to protect each other in a good way, and we are trying to uplift each other, right? And it's just like, I grew up with folks that like on my block that were going through substance abuse, and like I would hear them, they'd be like, "Hey, kids, come in, hide your pipes, hide this, hide that," like, so it's
when the
like,
kids are coming, they will hide them. And now it's like right in front of them.
And it's just like going back to that era. It's just like, nobody was born bad, right? People are just victims of systemic violence. They're neglected from resources that they don't have access to, so they end up in these situations, these experiences. Like at the end of the day, these were never bad people. We're just all victims of like this bigger all system, this overall system that like caused us to have this downfall by design, right? So that's what I think about when I think about community.
Wow, you got a piece for us?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of community,
when you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this piece, and what were what state of mind were you in? Whatever was inspiring to you.
Okay.
We got that. We
Yeah.
you know what, folks? We know that these is young folks and they got some curse words and stuff. But Miss B always telling them we can't curse on the radio. So
I
if
ain't
he
gonna curse.
split,
It's all
okay,
good.
he ain't gonna split. He gonna take some of those parts out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this piece called Crack Concrete. So
Crack concrete.
this came about.
Whoa.
I'm walking down, like, I grew up on 25th Ave
Okay.
in Dubs, right?
Okay.
I'm walking down the street, you know. I'm walking, I'm looking at the floor. My phone dead. I ain't got nothing to look at.
Right.
I'm looking at the floor. Concrete is cracked, you know what I'm saying? But it goes from crack to smooth pavement, and it just looks hella weird to me. So I'm like, you know, what is this, you know? And I start looking around, like, you know, they repainted this house look brand new and stuff. Like, this is not for us, you know what I'm saying? This was never meant for us. This is for a white man that's about to move in, you know what I'm saying? So I took inspiration for that, and I wrote this piece.
Okay.
It's my favorite one too.
Crack Concrete. Oakland, don't let the money man deceive you. He ain't helping the children you brought out of these cracked concrete sidewalks. He could fill these potholes and cement the thought of delusion that they'd ever be able to fill back the community that they pushed out. No love, no doubt in my mind that they'd ever be able to have you shine as bright as you used to be. Clipper cars busting street lights, turn the corner line and order vendors up and down on these cracked concrete corners. Order me a good steak burrito, one horchata, and endless memories on these cracked concrete streets. Take that deep breath of relief, cause Oakland, we taking you back. These new buildings wasn't meant for us. These new streets is never supposed to tend to his trust. The system was trying to make us stuck, but forget that stuff. We fight back, and they better not take it as a bluff. Oakland raised us tough. Seem like no matter how hard we go for you, they ain't trying to hear us like our struggle wasn't enough. Lincoln Nights, Oakland Lights, we dragons bound through Chinatown. Music slapping, sitting, relaxing for the bass, causing earthquakes with this town taste. Y'all know y'all can't replicate. Cause we got that cars, gas, and turf dancing. Can't let these people take down this culture mansion we built. Hope they see what they doing to you and they trip on this cracked concrete they trying to conceal. But ain't no cutting down that rose or ground from this here. Ain't no rebuilding what's been built. Choking your guilt and sever all the pieces of Oakland that we got left. Preserve what was lost when they started taking over the West. Paying my homage to the cornerstones of change that home of the Black Panthers got that color and range. But that's not hard to see. Why they want to take us over? Kicking it at my house, but give my people the cold shoulder. You ain't nothing but a sucker. We saw you bite your tongue when Oakland stepped. We saw you swallow your hollow lies. We saw right through you and lost all the respect that we never had. Cause you rock. Oaklandish cheese, say cheese when you posted at the lake, but you can handle a little tire screeching, side shows in the deep, sounding music to our ears. I smelt that burnt rubber and felt at home. I felt that town love. I lived that on my own. Gonna try and throw us corners off your plate, but Oakland don't take no handouts, and you knew that. You knew that from the start. You knew that I was a real dub baby by heart, screaming 2-5 till I die. Realized the money man that got my block down too came with a white Tesla and a put it into a neighborhood filled with broken homes. It's funny seeing America's perceived terror don't become a quote-unquote home to you too. And I ain't gonna front and act like Oakland's perfect. We for sure got our problems, but ain't nobody's but ours to fix. Don't think we're gonna hide because we speaking truth. That's yours truly, the power of the youth.
Woo!
Told you, I tried
Well,
to
we
tell
got
him.
some more. We got some more we gonna share.
tried to tell
Now,
him.
okay, so that to me was an unrest. You know, it's unrest talking about what's really going on here in Oakland.
Yeah.
And we see it. They know it's happening. Who do you think we need to, and what do you think we need to continue to do to change this community?
I think we need to continue to speak out. Like, I'm seeing like a lot of the people that I grew up in my communities, they're not even living in Oakland no more. They living down in Stockton. They're moving to, you know, like Antioch, and
Pittsburgh,
yeah, all the way out. Like, y'all pushing out the communities that been living here, that been growing up here, like that got, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all grew up together right here, and it's sad to see, like, you know, the community go. Yeah. The way I put it is like, we seeing all the color go. This is
go ahead. Sorry. You didn't say it.
You didn't say it.
It's turning.
You didn't say it. So.
It's turning.
Speak my heart.
It's turning like Oakland turning white. To put it
Mhm.
like that, like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying. I'm looking at this the neighborhood back in Funktown, like it's a 1100, like
And
it's
you
a
speaking
little
your truth.
yeah.
So you know what we're doing here today. Again, it's not talking about anybody, but you're speaking your truth.
Yeah.
It's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So in your lens, in your town, and where you are, this is what you see.
Mm-hmm.
So can't nobody
Dispute that.
dispute that, especially if it's happening. So what you gonna say?
Yeah.
You know, if it's happening, this is what. But we need these people to understand that you just can't come in and take over a community and push the people out.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for 10 years, but we got these new hood scholars that's stepping up to the plate and saying, educating our community.
Right.
Just like the folks with Black Panthers, what's happening now is just everybody now, the hood scholars is taking a role of theirs.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so to stand on their shoulders, the Black Panthers Party, and then we have brother Cesar.
Cesar, yeah.
The oh my God.
Founder of Homies Empowerment.
Yes, but it's another organization. It's a Hispanic organization. Oh my God, I can't even think of it. And then we have Cambodian. You know, we have groups that's out there that's really rebels.
Yeah.
that's bringing this information to the forefront.
Right.
And I'm grateful that you are.
Thank you.
You know, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, to answer that question, I really liked how Ellis ended the poem when he said the power of the youth.
Ooh.
Right. And I always talk about how youth voices are neglected, right? Like we don't listen to our youth, and like a lot of the struggles that they kind of inherit is because of the decisions that adults make, right? So it's just like uplifting youth voices like Ellis and like other youth that are like doing the same work as him, like because they can make that transformative change in our communities, right? They see it, they're affected by it, right? They seeing adults dispute with each other about like fighting for basic human rights, right? Like what do we need to argue about? Free water, free housing, like why is that problematic, right? You know, free shelter for like you see Oakland is gentrified to the point where we have so many unhoused folks, right? Yeah. We don't want our relatives to live like that. Like this is our community. That's these are folks that we love, right? And that we're neglecting, right? Because we're constantly disputing over what's morally right, what's, you know, why, you know, they shouldn't have it, why, you know, stuff like that. And also like you know, reviving like the art scene, right? Yes. In Oakland, reviving that culture, reviving that community in a sense where everyone can contribute in that aspect, you know, through arts.
Now share what you're doing with Homies Empowerment too. We have you just did the art. What is called what is it called again? The art pieces that
we just did.
Yes.
Fresh off the block.
Fresh off the block. And then Homies Empowerment.
Dream Arts and Activism.
Dream Arts and Activism. Say something about that.
Yeah. So we have an upcoming show on March 31st. Youth organized. They're painting their own art pieces, and the theme is reuniting communities through art. So it's really just from this perspective of like building ethnic solidarity, right? Oakland is so diverse, right? And like we see a lot of.
And it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful. We see a lot of organizations like fighting for resources, right? But we can only be more empowered if we build in solidarity with each other, right? So my youth came up with that theme, and they're just like, look, we want to stand in solidarity with other ethnic groups and their struggles, right? We want to see y'all pass the pain that you're going through, the pain that you hold, right? We want to be able to highlight you, you know, shed light on you and your community, and let's do it in a good way, and let's do it together, right? So that's happening March 31st, and this is all
What's the address?
76. It's on 76 and Mac. We'll share the flyer on the Homies Empowerment IG, but like youth voices, really important, super important.
Well, that's why I have y'all on here with me, because your voices is important to me. I hear you all. You know, so that's why I, again, do the work that I do, is because I hear y'all. And I thank y'all for even letting me be a part of your world. You know, it's an honor and it's a badge for me to be able to be a part of your world. So I'm grateful to that. You got another spoken word piece for us?
I do.
And while you're thinking of that and while you're finding it, I want to also say, again, thank you for tuning in to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational. Listen to me, getting tongue tied, but you already. It is what it is. Again, Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station The Eyes of the Conscious Soul brings to you every first Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. the Cafe Le Blue Lounge, where we host the corner, and this is where the hood scholars and we highlight the Cafe Le Blue Lounge with the artist talk, and it could either be Why I Dream, She Who Believes Takes Off the Mask, and then we also have every second Saturday of the month, we have the Medicine Hour with my co-host, Mr. George Pearson. This is where we believe building a better tomorrow starts with us. And then we have every third Saturday of the month, Education is the Best Medicine. And then you have every fourth Saturday of the month, the Lights Out Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult Radio Show. My co-host, the Doc, and we have the Prince of Hearts and the Voice. And every fifth Saturday of the month, we have Voices That Care, and we talk about reentry, and we are talking about mental wellness. But again, today I want to say NAMI Contra Costa is here to offer a statewide service to African Americans in need in other communities. But most importantly, you can touch base with us at 925-465-3864, or you can go to calhopeconnect.org. NAMI CC, one of our programs, we provide culturally sensitive, non-clinical crisis counselors for African Americans by African Americans. Our crisis counselors are made up of African Americans with lived experience as peers and family members with specific subject matter expertise, and then we also provide resources, information, and support to help people to find their way during these difficult times in the pandemic and the social unrest. And definitely connect with us at NAMI CC. Again, you can go to our website. The African American Uplift Program utilizes lived experience. It's African American based centered, and we are there to support our community. We have you can go, we have a faith connection with a grief support faith connection that you can go on and talk about what's happening with you and your family in the community, but just to get your mental together. And that's what we're talking about. After you do that, I want to talk about what do you do for self-care. But go ahead, baby.
So yeah, this piece called Disconnected.
Disconnected.
Yeah, it's about the feeling of disconnection from my own culture to myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep.
I'm Cambodian and I'm half Lao too. So
yeah,
I wasn't born there. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak it, so it's kind of difficult for me to really. Well, for me, it feels like it's kind of difficult for me to really connect with my own culture when I'm not even knowing how to speak it. You know what I'm saying?
That's deep. That's good.
You're talking
and
about
not only
things.
You feel that way, other races feel the same.
Yeah.
That's like, what was you gonna say?
No, he's talking about three things: his Oakland identity, his Laos identity, and the Cambodian identity.
Oh, deep. Okay, go ahead, babe.
Go like this. I'm the product of Tupac slapping Mac J Mackin on 25th Ave off Foothill. I am papaya salad with psycho sticks and stones put on the sidewalk of my house. I am CHHOURN, my father's son, my mother's twin, my brother's shoulder to lean on, and my sister's protector. I am the connector between two different cultures whose tongue I didn't inherit, but piece by piece I'm picking it up with my sabayis and getting cows. Still I barely know how to break these barriers down from my own culture to me. To speak is my wish, but my tongue twists and I choke on words as if I could tell the difference between Sep and Sep lie. Still, I lie here in my bed trying to figure out how to reply to old folks when they ask me, where do you want to be? I solve sentences like 500-piece puzzles. I take words I already know and try to fit them into places they don't really belong. Same way if you took me back to the motherland, she wouldn't take me back as her own. A lost child out of place in what is supposed to be my own home. I walked this long road alone. Hoping to seek refuge this instance, trying to shorten out the distance, knowing that this stuff takes time. Because I spent years encountering and mastering the language of the people that don't even like that I exist.
Wow.
My tongue doesn't fit your vocabulary, but I could barely say library correct, but today rolls off my tongue just fine. So take me back. Back to where? to the pearl of Southeast Asia, you're not even Cambodian for real. You wasn't born in Laos, you're American. But that couldn't be more farther from the truth. I call my mama Ma, because even though she's Laotian and Ma is Khmer, it is the motion of my devotion I have for learning my roots. I don't say grandpa, I say thigh. I don't say fish sauce, I say nampa. My understanding of Lao Khmer is no better than a 3-year-old. I'm told stories orally in a language I want to get to know so bad, and still I'm asked, where do you want to be? I want to be able to speak to my thigh and those before him. Before this light gets dim, I gotta feed it. Feed it everything I know, soaking every word. Soaking every word. I can't lose this life. I can't forget my culture. I bleed the land of a million elephants. I am the depiction of people on Angkor Wat walls. I am Cambodian like my father, Laotian like my mother. I am the connector.
Wow.
I have to tell them.
Yes. Hood scholar. Hood scholars. Oh, you guys are so deep in. What again inspired you? Where were you in your feelings at the moment when you when
question.
that peace came?
Great question.
You know, what was there?
Conversations with my thigh versus so like me not being able to communicate with him was really like I could, he speak English, but like, it's broken, you know what I'm saying? He don't know English all the way. And
who said it was broken?
Yeah.
Society says it's broken.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what we're getting away from. But go ahead, baby.
Yeah, I wish I picked up on speaking Cambodian a lot. And on my mom's side too, like, for the family members that can't really speak English, like, wanted to learn loud, but for the sole fact that I wanted to know their story. And then I can't know their story if I want them to tell me, but I can't if they can't speak English, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I can't speak loud and I can't speak Cambodian. So it's like, that's stuff. It's stuff like I'm at a lost cause there, but I pick up as much as I can, you know what I'm saying? Whatever I learn, like, saying, like, calling my family members by, like, in the ways that we would, like, in Cambodian, like, like I said, calling my mama Ma, calling my grandpa Thai, calling my grandma Yay, and saying, like, oh, close the door, but turn the light on, you know what I'm saying? Like, speaking as much as I know and remembering that, because, you know what I'm saying, it can go a long way. And probably by the end of, in 10 years, I probably started speaking straight Cambodian, you never know.
Right, hey.
Yeah, so.
And it's also the love. It's the love of you. I see you, you see me.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And when you can look in a person's eyes, that's why it says your eyes is a window to your soul.
Right.
So being able to look in their eyes, even though they can't speak the language, and you being able to communicate through spirit.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's on a deep level, but they know you. It's crazy. It's like we're trying to reach and touch and grab each other, but it's like, because we're there, but it's like, I really want to know so bad. And that's what we're trying to get people to understand and to feel in our community. Reach for each other. Reach to hear somebody else's story. Feel them in spirit. We letting all this other stuff, other than remembering that it's here.
Right.
All this outside is fleeting, it's going to fade away. But what's going on the inside of us? And that's back to the self-care. What's going on in the love? Bringing back the love of people. That's why it's so easy for somebody to pick up a gun.
Right.
Because you don't look at me as I'm, human or what do you guys say about that? What's the feel of, because I can walk down the street. And I greet everybody all the time. It doesn't matter the race. I'm always going to do that. But it's something when you don't get it back. But it's okay, because you got to keep moving. And you got to tell yourself it's all right, because you don't know what state of mind they're in. You don't know what they're going through, blah, blah, blah. But to put it back out in our communities is that if I look at you and I see you, and I acknowledge that you are, I see you. And that's so important. Like you were saying with the youth, to hear their voices. I see you. I hear you.
Right.
That is what's missing in our community, because we've gotten, like the other folks, is that I don't want to know about you. I don't care about what you're doing. What we just talked about earlier. It's like, when I get to know who you are, I'm invested.
Right.
People don't want to invest in people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to share with that?
I really think I think just talking to people I think for growing up and even now people so quick to just then let's go fight this out or we're gonna take it to the streets. You know what I'm saying? I feel like talking could go such a long way and just explaining how you feel and how the other person feels. You know what I'm saying? And it just sucks just seeing how things play out and seeing so many young people pass away due to these things. It's really upsetting. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like I said, it's like a resource. They don't know these options is out there for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that there's other ways to cope these issues. You know what I'm saying? And it's really upsetting. And then I feel what am I trying to say?
Yeah, we get you. You know what I'm saying?
Like growing up, people for me, I'm always gonna treat somebody with respect, regardless of what he said, she said. I don't know you. Let me get to know you myself. Only if you have that respect for me back. You know what I'm saying? If I'm willing to get to know you and talk to you in a respectful manner, and you do the same for me, then we're gonna be cool. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what it is. And I think that.
And not hurting somebody else, like you said, because somebody else no.
Yeah,
why? Yeah. And that just keeps this separation and it keeps the funking and the fighting, people getting killed.
Yeah.
Instead of just having conversations, like you said, like mature people do. When you mature, you have a conversation. Yeah. If I don't like what you did or what you said, I'm not gonna try to go get a gun and try to kill you because you did that, or I thought that you disrespected me. No. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
But I feel it's really about the individual person, things like that. Regardless of how stupid the situation is, there's people dying off of this. Yeah, and it just makes the situation more serious. Nowadays, it's not even about whatever it was in the first place. Now it's because you killed my uncle or you killed my cousin. You know what I'm saying? It gets deep, and it's really difficult. I can't just say, just talk to that person.
Right?
You can't
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just tell somebody, you need to talk. No, hell no. I don't like that person. They killed somebody close to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's really
we need to stop the violence.
It's the violence, and it's just we gotta find ways to just really communicate and hash things out a different way. Yeah. But it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take a lot of mental, you know what I'm saying? That's not something that's easy. That's something that's really not easy, especially when you're talking about people dying off of this. It's not easy.
And and what we need to understand in our community, there's nothing wrong with therapy.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying with the what I love about with NAMI, it's individuals that have a condition, and that's the illness. And then we offer these different workshops and these different groups because we just want people to be able to come in and feel like they are somebody and be able to share their story and how we empower each other as we're having a conversation. That's the beautiful thing about NAMI. It's just not. It's not. I have to give Miss Gigi Crowder. She's the executive director of NAMI. I have to give her credit because she's making it. It's on a whole nother level. It's just not for the mental illness. It's about how do we get rid of the stigma of mental illness and then just going to therapy. You need to talk. We need to share. And we got all this anger and all these trauma things that was put on us, and some things we were put on ourselves, and some things was generational. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to deal with, but getting rid of that stigma of that you're able to write your way through. Yeah. That's a part of your therapy.
Yep. Right.
And then some people have to go and talk to somebody. There's different forms of therapy. And community, all we're saying, whatever form of community, other than hurting yourself and harming somebody else, we want to provide these resources. We want to provide places for you to connect with us and get around like-minded people and shift this narrative, turn this thing around. Right. As you were saying, that it'll take a long time. It doesn't take a long time unless somebody just make the choice to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So we trying to get folks to.
It's about the individuality.
Individuality. And us sharing, I believe, true-hearted, that what we do and how we bring to the table on the eyes of the conscience. So is that I believe that we are imparting the beauty of medicine, that we are our medicine to each other. And how do we connect and how do we work it out? How do we work this thing? Because we know a system is already in place. Yeah. How do we now smart hood scholars flip this game
Yeah.
upside down, and we can do it.
Right.
Anything you want to say?
Yeah, just happy Women's History Month.
Yes.
And like the reason why I bring that up is because going back to that question, it's just like we need to reteach our community how to love, right? How to love, how to nurture each other. It became so gendered when it should be a balance. It should be a man and woman role, right? To love and nurture. And the system has deprived us of that emotion, of that feeling, and now every time we see each other, it's always like it's never genuine love. It's always like you never know if somebody has your best interest in mind, right? So we're quick to antagonize people or pre-assume things about people and judge people as opposed to approaching with love and nurture, right? So that's just where I am with it.
That is so good. Well, time flies when you're having fun. So for self-care, I think we got like 5 minutes to go. For self-care, what are you doing for self-care, and what can you encourage other young folks and adults to do for self-care?
Write and get a haircut.
Write and get a haircut.
I feel like every time I get a haircut, I feel fresh. You know what I'm saying? When I feel fresh, I feel good. So
that's good.
And another way I keep myself feeling fresh is to detox my body, whatever I'm feeling through my words, and writing out how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And I walk through life feeling good. You know, that's how I self-care.
That's dope. And that's something different that another person probably like, just get a haircut. Yeah. Make yourself feel good. If you got to go in the mirror and then do affirmations and conversation, have a conversation with yourself in the mirror.
Right.
You know. But go ahead, Ross.
For me, it's really just understanding that I'm human and I can only hold so much. So it's just recharging, right? Getting a lot of rest, taking care of myself, drinking a lot of water, and then setting boundaries, with people and community. Like, I did this amount of work. And not saying that it's work because it's labor of love at the end of the day, right? Whatever labor I'm doing is labor of love, right? It's not traditional capitalism work where it's a 9 to 5. I don't treat it like that, right? So it's just recharging and understanding that it can be a burnout, right? Doing a lot of community work. So and then like when people are sharing their traumas with you, it can live through you as well because they're sharing it, right? And your body can hold that, you don't even know it. Right, so it's just allowing myself to understand that I'm human. I can't try to be a superhuman and set those boundaries straight. Right.
Wow. Well, boy, well, you all heard it on the Eyes of the Conscious Soul. You have tuned into the Corner on Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational music and gospel station. The Corner brings to you the Cafe Le Blue Lounge, which we highlight hood scholars. And this is Town Biddness, highlighting a taste of Oakland. So today you got a taste of Oakland. And your name again?
Esteezy.
Esteezy. So, and then you have my co-host, Mr. Rose. And what would be your parting words for today? And we're going to end on that note.
Ellis.
My parting words, stay true to you. For real, because like if you don't stay true to yourself and you don't, make things for yourself, like you're never gonna tell your story the right way. You gotta be from you. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta stay true.
For me, it's remember where you've been to understand where you're going.
Y'all, I got some hood scholar young folks out there here, and y'all wonder why I stay young, because I got them. So we want to say thank you for tuning in again to the Eyes of the Conscious Soul with your Sister B. Mellow. Please, if you are feeling some type of way and you need some resources and connections, don't forget to contact NAMI Contra Costa. Our warm line telephone number is 925-465-3864. You can also go to calhopeconnect.org, and we definitely will, or you can go to namicontracosta.org website. But most importantly, take care of yourself. In order to take care of yourself, you got to do that first, and then you're able to take care of your community and our families and our peers. And this is what we are here to do. And this is what we're doing on the Eyes of the Conscious Soul, is about taking care of ourselves and our community. We love you. Peace out, and have a good, safe afternoon.